Hi, my name is Rick Marazon. I'm the statewide small game program coordinator for the Alaska Department of Fish and Game, and this video is going to demonstrate how to field dress a snowshoe hare. So to begin, you're going to want some paper towel to help clean up any mess, some kind of type of sanitary wipe to wipe down your surface after you're completed, some hand sanitizer when you're done. And then to actually do the field dressing, I use a small retractable pocket knife. This one is about a 2 or 3 inch blade is more than enough, and that will help a lot. And quite handy are a pair of game shears, which you can find at any hunting supply store or in most grocery stores in the kitchen section. And then lastly, a pair of latex gloves to help keep everything sanitary. So to begin, you first want to cut all of the limbs off of the hare and the head, and so I'll demonstrate that real quick. So to start with, I'll start cutting the front legs, and you want to cut just above that lower joint right here. And if your game shears aren't as sharp as you would like, this is where a knife comes in pretty handy. So you can set those aside, and then you want to move to the neck and find the narrowest part of the neck and cut through that with your game shears. Once you've cut the head and all the 4 feet off, you want to flip the hare over to the belly, onto its belly, and pinch the skin right along the spine, right along the middle of the hare, right at the spine, and pinch maybe a 1/2 inch or inch of skin. And holding on with one hand, you want to take your knife in the other and cut a small incision in the skin right along the spine. And then you can locate that incision with each hand, and you want to put 1 to 2 fingers on each side of that hole, just enough so you can hold the whole carcass like that. So with a firm grasp on either side of the incision, you dunk the hare completely into the bucket of water, completely under the water, submerging the whole carcass. And the purpose of doing this, you'll see here in a moment, is to keep the carcass clean of all the very light, fluffy hair. And then you just can pull it right off the carcass with very little mess. Once you've removed the whole hide off of the hare, you can start removing the 4 quarters and the backstrap, which are the 6 pieces of salvageable meat that this video is going to demonstrate how to remove. So snowshoe hares are much like any other big game animal you might find in Alaska or the lower 48. The front shoulder doesn't have a hard connection with bone. It's actually just free floating in muscle, so it makes it quite easy to really just fillet the front shoulder right off the rest of the carcass. And so you want to just stick your knife kind of in what would be equivalent to like the armpit, and you can just simply fillet it right off. And that's that. And then on the hind quarter, again, much like other game animals in Alaska or the lower 48, the femur is the long bone here, just like in humans, has a ball and socket connection in the pelvis. And that really is what makes the process challenging, is finding that ball and socket joint. But once you do that, it actually comes off pretty quickly. So I usually make what I call kind of a back cut right here. And then you can go in from this angle and just slowly start cutting down, trying to avoid cutting into the body cavity. And you just want to very carefully cut down along that pelvis. You can see the white pelvis bone right there. Until you find that ball and socket, and you can actually see it right there starting to reveal itself. There's the ball, and there's the socket in the pelvis. So once you've found that, it actually becomes fairly easy to remove this quarter. There you can see it right there. That's that. So that's really one side. You can flip the hare over and complete those steps for the other 2 quarters. Then the only thing remaining is what's called the backstrap, which is the muscle along either edge of the spine along the back. This can be a really nice piece of meat, really high quality meat with not a lot of fat. And then the backstrap, there's one here on this side, and then there's one right there on that side. So I'll show you now how to cut that off. Usually how I start is trying to identify where that spine is. And you can kind of work your knife along that edge. All the way back to the pelvis, where we're cutting that hind quarter off. And then you can just work your way down to the ribs and really just start filleting that right off. And you want to avoid, if you can, puncturing the gut cavity. And that's that. And so once you remove that off either side, you've salvaged all 6 pieces of meat that I would recommend salvaging off a snowshoe hare, and you can avoid completely cutting into the body cavity that can be quite stinky and messy. And now you're ready for the grill.